Hello everybody, welcome to a Facebook Live with Jeannie. I am Jeannie Nielsen, the Card Lady, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. So today, I am going to share one of my favorite classes. I decided to go horizontal, so I don't look very, you're gonna see a whole lot more of my thing, and I think that Cindy helped me figure out things so that I'm going to be able to do things that I need. Well, no, I don't. Let's see, the wrench. I just wanted to make things brighter. There we go. Do I look washed out? Haven't slept a whole lot. Never sleep a whole lot. I've worked the last couple of days. My parents were here this weekend. What a fabulous weekend. My dad turned 80 on Monday and he was able to share it with us. My brother came and worked on my deck off of my bedroom, which of course has meant that I haven't done and gotten a good night's sleep in my own bed, because during the day I usually sleep, of course, in my bedroom, and because I work nights. But hopefully not for much longer. I'm going to ramble here. Just going to give you a little background of why we are having our deck done. I was just thinking that if hopefully I'm going to be able to see the camera when I get back to this. We'll but anyway, my husband years and years ago went through the floor of our deck, and it was not a good show at all. You know, he actually got really upset with me because I didn't have any idea. I'm playing with buttons here, trying to look for that little camera, which does not seem to be here, Cindy, just to let you know, but that's okay. We'll find it one of these times. It's got to be here someplace. Anyway, I wanted to share this lovely, lovely card class with you. If worse comes to worse, I'm going to just do what I did before and do what I normally do. So I'm still horizontal. I wanted to do it so that I could see the comments as you guys are commenting, because once I flip down, I can't see comments. I always respond to your comments. You will see that today I responded a little bit less timely than last week because I had my house full of company. I had a card class right after last week's live. And then I ended up getting ready for my parents and my brother coming. And then I had the house full of company, and then I went right to work. So anyway, good to see all you guys. So this class is, I called it Through the Looking Glass. I'm really excited about this class. I'm going to share one card that we're not going to make. Sorry, I can't make all 4 cards. But this card, so cute. I'm thinking that you may not know why I'm calling it Through the Looking Glass. All of these cards have one thing in common, and that is it has like a frame around it. So it's some kind of frame. So this is the Aspen Trees dice. I'm going to make that. And this is the Scary Cute. It's a fun fold card. So I will make that with you. And if you are taking this class to go, I am going to send you all the die cuts already done. I can do that right now while I'm small enough. When I get larger, which I really hope to do soon, I may not be able to include die cuts, but so take advantage of it while you can. But anyway, Through the Looking Glass, I thought about this for a long time. And one of the cards, of course, that I wanted to do was the Scary Cute card. And it's almost Halloween. And if I don't do it soon, I'm not going to be able to do it at all. So we are going to have fun making these cards. I'm going to flip down so that you can see it. Hopefully things are not backwards. We're going to go like that. And we're going to see if you guys can see what I am doing. So I'm flipped down. And I haven't done this horizontally before. So let me think. Is this upside down for you? No, I think you guys can see it. Okay. So this is the first card. It's a shaker card. It's got the Sequins for All Seasons, I believe is the name of the sequins that are inside. This is a really easy card if you guys were ever going to do it. I have a piece of designer paper. It's 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. I put it inside one of our cellophane envelopes, did like 1/8 of a teaspoon of sequins in there, sealed up the envelope at the top, and then folded over the edges so it was nice and tight. Put some Terran tape along it so that it would stick to my card base. And then all I did was I took foam tape, and you may or may not be able to see that. I have foam tape around the edges. Now, I didn't need to do foam tape. I honestly could have done just regular dimensionals for that. But if you were going to make this a for real shaker card, you'd cover all 4 edges nice and tight, no gaps. These have a little bit of a gap, but you cover all 4 edges with the foam strips, which we carry. And then I would use a, like an embossing buddy to get rid of the stick on the inside. And then you just put your window sheet here. But this was a super easy one that we're going to make tonight. And I used the cellophane envelope. So a fun shaker card, easy to make with any kind of designer paper. This is the Gnomes paper, the sweetest Gnomes paper. So anyway, we're not making that card. I'm so sorry. It's not part of the kit. Actually, if your order is over 50, I'm going to give you all of the things so that you could make this card as well. But for a $35 order, you're going to make these 3 cards. Let's start with this card. I love this card. It's a little, I hope the glare isn't blinding you. This is the Splendid Thoughts designer paper. So pretty. And for me, because this is like a rose gold, it reminded me of the fall colors. So what I did was I cut this out with the Grassy Grove die, and behind it on some shimmer paper with a stitched rectangle die, I did the blending brushes. So we're going to start with that card first right now. And we're going to have fun making these cards. And like I said, with this host code, if you place a $35 order, you are going to get this card kit in the mail. Isn't that a fabulous deal? I mean, and that does not even include, I am shipping it to you for free. So let's start with this card. So this is how I package my cards. It's already scored, ready to go. This is a Cajun Craze base. 5.5 by 8.5 inches. I scored this at 4 1/4. So it's a standard card, just like this, but of course we're going to fold it up rather than out. Okay, let me put this aside for a second. And then I'm going to take out the inks that I used. So what I have here, I've already done the die cutting. So this is the Grassy Grove die and the Splendid Thoughts paper. I believe I did 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches to cut this. So it's a nice, easy measurement. Already cut, and because it has the leaves on there, it looks like fall to me. I'm gonna set that aside for a second. I have already, out of Early Espresso, cut my 2 deer. These are part of the Grove dies, these 2 deer. It kind of embosses it. Actually, not really. They're really silhouettes. There is another die in the set that if you stamped a deer, you could die cut it and it would be an outline die. But these, I don't know what they're kind of almost, it's not really embossed, but it kind of is. Okay. I have here 4 colors that I'm going to use. I have my blending brushes all ready to go. I bought a makeup case on Amazon, and I keep these blending brushes in there, and I dedicate colors. So this is a purple, this is a yellow, this is an orange, I have blues, I have greens, I have browns. You know, I kind of keep it, I don't have a gray yet, but that's the same kind of idea. I honestly have not blended any gray in anything now that I think about it. But anyway, you get the idea. So there's pinks, you know, the pinks and reds. You've got your oranges, the purples, the yellows. What I'm going to start by doing is getting out my inks. And what I did was I've got 4 inks. I have crushed curry. I have pumpkin pie. Not sure what that is. Looks like a sequin. Sequins on the loose. I have Cajun Craze, and then I have a little bit of Highland Heather that I'm going to do just to add to the sunset, just a little bit in the middle. So let's start with our lightest color first. Let me pull out my mat with my scrap paper. Open our ink, and we're going to start with our shimmer paper. So I cut this with the largest stitched rectangle die out of the shimmer paper. What I'm going to do, I always start by I kind of rub it on, right? But I don't start right on my paper, and I'm going to do it sideways. I start off because I want to make sure that I don't make it too intense and blotchy, because if I did it really deeply without stamping it off, without rubbing it off, you'd see the actual marks of the brush. So I always start off the paper. I do this when I sponge as well, or when I use my sponge daubers. If you start right on the paper with your sponge daubers, you're going to have the imprint of the sponge dauber to start, and you really don't want that. It's really hard to remove that, and it's a lot easier to add color than take it away. So start off the paper, and you see right here, I've got my yellow already, my crushed curry. That's really intense. I wouldn't want that on the card, even if it would be covered up. So let's do a little bit further down, a little bit more. And everybody has a different technique. I like going back and forth. Some people might do circular. I guess it kind of depends on the shape and how intense you want it. Okay, so I'm done with my crushed curry. When I'm done with my ink, I usually have a microfiber cloth and I just clean off the ink from that. So let me close this up so I don't make a mess. And we are going to go to our next lightest color, which is pumpkin pie. So let me open the pumpkin pie. And this is going to use one of my orange brushes. Now, of course, I'm also going to be using this for Cajun Craze. And since I've already done it, I might even try rubbing off some of the color before I start, because I don't think I cleaned it with my microfiber brush before I started. So tap it on. We're going to start off, and then we're going to go into the middle. I'm not going to start at the end because I really want that yellow color to be there. So here we go. Might add a little bit more at this end, a little bit more intense as I get away from that yellow. This is actually quite relaxing. You know, every week I have to tell you guys, I get really worried about doing these Facebook Lives. Do I have anything to teach with you? Do I have anything to share? And really, it's just fun sharing with you. And once I get going, I am not nervous. But up until I get going, I'm a wreck. Just a little secret about me. So that means I'm putting my whole heart into this, just to let you know, just like I do with my nursing. And I think that's why I'm exhausted too. It's really intense at work right now. I'm a bone marrow transplant nurse and quite involved with some of my patients, and it's a tough time. Anyway, you'd want to have me for your nurse, just saying, because I put my whole heart into what I do. I really do. With everything, with the stamping I do, but especially with the nursing. You wouldn't wait for pain medication with me, that's for sure. Okay, so there we go. A little bit of, this is Cajun Craze. So we've got the crushed curry, pumpkin pie, and Cajun Craze. I'm going to do this off. And then, like I said, I was going to do a little bit of purple. So I've got Highland Heather here. And we're just going to add a little bit of light right to the middle of the yellow. Not too much. So I've got my purple brush. I've probably used it for Gorgeous Grape. I've probably used it for Fresh Freesia, all those colors. So all those purpley colors, they're in there. I'm gonna add this right to the inside. And I don't know if you can see it. There's not a whole lot, but there's a little bit of purple in there. Just a little. And there we go. I'm not going to overdo it, and hopefully that's going to look good. We will see. Okay, so now what we're going to do is add our stitched rectangle to our card base. This is a really easy card, and the most relaxing part is doing the blending brush. I'm going to turn this around like I did. I'm going to do the yellow at the top, the orange at the bottom, just like the sky. You know, as the sun goes down, the yellows and the purples are at the top. The oranges are really intense, are down at the bottom as the sun sinks below the horizon. Okay. Now that I am going to work, I leave for work at 5 o'clock, even though I don't start until 7 o'clock at night. And now the sun is in my eyes all the time, and that really impacts traffic, of course. But it's so sad that the days are getting shorter already. Okay, I have my, like I said, Splendid Thoughts Grassy Grove die. You don't need a lot of glue on here. I'm just adding a little bit to all the edges because I don't want it to come up in the edges. And you know what? I forgot. What I did with this card, I kind of tucked my deer's hoofs, paws, feet, legs, whatever, paws, yeah, hoofs. Well, you know, I tucked it under the bottom. So I am going to make sure that I can do that. So I'm probably going to do this fairly quickly. So I could have done this more intensely. Look at that. That is really intense color. I didn't add enough there, I see. But that's okay. Okay, don't get the glue on your Splendid Thoughts designer paper. Even with the adhesive eraser, if you get glue on that, it's really hard to get that shine back. If you really are struggling and you need to get the shine back after you've removed some of the adhesive, you could kind of polish it up with a microfiber cloth. Okay, so I've done that, and right here I have my deer. I'm not going to pop them up, even though I probably could. I'm not going to pop them up. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the bottom, or to the backs, not to the bottom. Did I ever tell you guys that I can't multitask? So if I stop talking, it's because I can't do two things at the same time. See, there we go. I'm kind of tucking him underneath right there. And I don't know if I'm upside down. I'm hoping you guys are seeing this right side up. I think you are. So that's the mama deer. And let's put our little baby deer, who of course is trailing behind. We went to Disney World one year and we were so worried about my son. He was, let's see, my daughter turned 7. So he must have been 4.5 when we went. And we were thinking, oh, we're going to have to get a stroller for him because he's always going to be lagging behind. And I'm going to tell you a funny story about that. He was not. He was always 20 steps ahead of us. We were always racing to catch up with him. And it was my daughter who was always enjoying everything, looking at the characters, and 10 steps behind. So we were stretched to the max just trying to keep them together. Okay, what I did now, I just did a little tag up here in the corner. I don't think you can see it because it's really dark, but I couldn't do another color tag. White would be too stark. Crushed curry, not quite right. Daffodil Delight or So Saffron, not quite right. So what I did was the Cajun Craze, and I stamped it in Memento. And I've got one stamped already, but I've already done the die cutting for everything here for this class tonight, so I apologize. But okay, I am pretty sure, I will have to double check, but I'm pretty sure this is the seasonal labels dies. This is one of the little dies. I'll double check. And of course, if you get this class with your order, you also will get a free PDF. So when I ship your kit, you will get the PDF emailed to you at the same time. So you can make multiples of these cards. This is the Inspired Thoughts stamp set. Love this stamp set. I really, really do. Let me pull out my Memento ink. So I've already got one stamped, but I think I've said this to you before, and I'm going to say it again. If I don't put my labels on, and a lot of times I don't have time to put my labels on, I trust the block. I have the block totally lined up. I might put it at the bottom of my paper. If I had like a ruler, I could do it with that. But I put my stamp on my block, and I am looking at this line, and I have a really good sense, a really good eye for things straight. I can look at something and say, oh, it's got to go up like a fraction of an inch, and I can do that. So I've lined it up with the bottom of the block, and then I'm going to say, I am going to trust the block. I always say, trust the block. With my classes, if you put it on yourself, you've got to trust yourself. But with me, if you're doing my classes, just trust the block. So I know this is straight. I just don't know if actually, it didn't work out. That turned out pretty well. Even actually better than the one I've pre-stamped. So we're going to put that aside. I'm going to take some mini dimensionals, which I have right here. And I am going to, I do have it right here. I've got multiples of them, but let's pull out the right packet. I'm going to put this on the back, some mini dimensionals. And we're going to pop this up in the corner. I think I will put one in the middle too. I don't always completely fill my die cuts, my backs with dimensionals, but in this case, I do want to make sure it doesn't kind of sink in. So what I'm going to do is put this up in the top corner. Thinking of you on your special day, this would be a great card for a guy, especially, okay, my brother hunts. I'm not a big fan of hunting. I love the deer, even though there aren't a lot of deer around here anymore because, of course, like I've told you multiple times, I've had a few scares this summer with coyotes. So I do love deer when they're not eating my daylilies. But here's your card. Isn't that so pretty? So add more color, more intense. This might be dawn rather than dusk. I don't know. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want, but it's such an easy card. It's so beautiful. And the Splendid Thoughts designer paper, I've really enjoyed using it. I didn't think I would, but I really did. Let's set this aside for a second. So I'm especially keeping it all together because I want to make sure I have it for my card class for tonight when people come. Okay, so I'm putting this aside and we're going to move on to our next card. Our next card is, isn't that nice that I can flip that? There's my host code if you're already loving these cards. Remember, a $35 order gets you this card kit in the mail. Oh, while I'm talking about getting something in the mail, I'm going to remind you again, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I start my online BOGO. And right now, I have 10 boxes of stamps. And obviously, I would overwhelm you if I did 10 boxes of stamps. I'm going to tell you right now, I have, I think, 4 boxes ready to go, including mostly holidays, some of the larger die bundles, you know, the larger oversized die envelopes with stamps. I've got a couple of them. I've got all my punch bundles ready to go. That opens tomorrow morning, and I pinned that to the top of my page. So make sure you join my group. Ask to join the group. I'll go through tonight and again tomorrow morning and approve you for that membership to that group. It's a private group, but feel free to invite anybody or tell them about it too, because I'm getting run over with all of my stamps. And this is only the first installment. Like I said, I don't want to overwhelm you. So I'm starting small with these 4 boxes, and then probably, I don't know, maybe December or sometime next year, I'm going to add more boxes and more stamps. If you are looking for a specific stamp, I have to tell you, I'm not breaking up my bundles if I have them as bundles. But if you're looking for a specific stamp and you don't see it in my albums, when you go to my Facebook group to join, just ask me, and I'm willing to sell them if you specifically message me about something. But I'm not going to list most of the everyday, all occasion stamps for BOGO tomorrow, just because 10 boxes, you would be flipping through, you would go crazy as I am getting it listed. Okay, so this is the Aspen Tree die and the Perched in a Tree bundle. I just love this. This aspen leaf, I had to look up, an aspen leaf is very similar to a birch leaf. And probably here in the Northeast, we see more birch than aspen. But anyway, since it's called an Aspen Tree die, that's what we're going to stick to. Okay, so I've got my card ready to go. It's a basic gray base, 5.5 by 8.5, again scored at 4 1/4. I am using some of my celebration paper, and I'm going to tell you, if you do over $100 order, I'm also going to do a pack of this. Besides the card kit, besides the 4th card, I will give you a package of this silver and gold designer paper if your order's over 100. Speaking of the BOGO, when you place an order, if it's over $50, I am going to be including little gifts. I've got retired paper, I've got retired ribbon, embellishments, etc. So I'll be adding little gifts to your packages. And of course, when I ship it, you'll pay for shipping. All the rules are there, but I'll ship it the least expensive way possible to get it to you safely. Okay, this is 4 by 5 1/4. Actually, I cut this a hair under 4 by 5 1/4 because my aspen die is 4 by 5 1/4. So I cut this, it's probably like 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 rather than, so that it's not going to show on the edges. See, you can see It's barely showing. Yeah, it's barely smaller, but it is. So it might even be a 1/16 of an inch instead of an 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I used the silver dots. This looks like snow to me. Isn't it so pretty? I've seen other cards with this too, I have to say, but so pretty. What I'm going to do is add this to my card base. And like I said, I've already done the die cutting of my aspen die, aspen tree die, you know, from my smoky slate paper. So most of my work on this card is done, as it will be for you as well. Here's my die. I love how it has the cutouts. And isn't that so pretty? It looks just like snow. Okay, what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue in all the corners, maybe even a little bit in the middle, because I don't want it to come up in the middle. There we go. Just a little bit, just a dab will do ya. There we go. Make sure it's right side up when you put it on your paper. I'm going to completely cover my designer paper. I could pop it up if you wanted, but why do you don't need to pop it up. Because of all of the detail in this die, I don't even feel like I need to pop it up. I have some of my silver paper. Remember the specialty silver foil that was available during Celebration and whatever? I cut one of my really silver paper up in with the aspen die, with the leaf die. And, oh, I'm jumping ahead. I'm not going to add that first. I'm actually going to stamp my label. This, I've stamped it already, just in case I mess up. But this is one of the stamps from the Perched in a Tree stamp set, which is the coordinating bundle. Once again, I've already put this on my block, and I'm going to truss the block. I'm going to move it up though, because I found I had a hard time stamping. If it's so much on the corner, it's really hard to see the edges and what you're stamping. And I'm going to stand up and hope that I just did okay. Oh, I did okay, but my goodness, that was lucky. Did you see that it's upside down? Very lucky. And actually it worked. Once again, it's stamped better than the one that I pre-stamped. Isn't that funny? I am going to add this with some dimensionals. This one I can use regular dimensionals, just a couple on the back. Let's do that. 2 or 3. Do you guys find it hard to believe that there are 300 dimensionals in your packages? I know I do. I go through them like water, seriously. And I even cut the edges, but I must use dimensionals on everything because I always have packages that are almost empty. I popped this up. This is one of the stitched rectangle dies. It's probably the smallest one that is not narrow. I'm not positive. I'd have to look at the package, but you'll get the die cut for that with your card kit. So yes, you can do this on your own watching, but wouldn't you love it getting a card kit in the mail from me, all packaged up with a little treat and everything. There we go. Love that leaf. Isn't that so pretty? And what we're going to do is use some of our basic, you know, our twine. We've got 5 colors in the twine. There's like a crumb cake, a black, a white, a vanilla, and a gray. So we're going to use the gray. I'm going to tie this in a bow right here. Oh boy, I think I let go of the wrong edge. Normally I don't have a problem. Isn't that funny? I took my glasses off for this. I think because I didn't want you to see me with my glasses on, my stylish red glasses. I'm not a stylish person, by the way. I'm a very plain Jane, you'll find. But I love these red glasses because I can find them. Okay, there we go. I guess just a cute little bow, not very big. I've got my paper snips right here. We're going to cut this like that. Put this back in my bin for tonight. And then let me grab I thought I had glue dots in here. If I don't, I may have to use, that would be funny if I didn't, because I really made a point of putting them on the table, but maybe we'll have to do it with a little dab of glue right here at the bottom. And then I'm not going to move it. Just a dab of glue at the bottom of my leaf. And then I'm going to tuck my bow here and hope for the best. The nice thing about a glue dot is that you can kind of move. Oh, found my glue dots now that I've glued it. They were on the floor right next to me. There we go. I always tie my downline. Anne taught me to tie ribbon around this so that my glue dots are not unwinding on me like everything else in my life is. So let me put that back there. And ta-da! Here's your next card. Isn't that so, so pretty? Now, this could be a Christmas card. This could be a get well card. This could be a thinking of you card. This could be a guy's birthday card. It could be anything you wanted. I love that it's so multi-purpose. So let's set this aside. I'm going to put the one with the glue on top so I don't smear it. Let's do that. And we are on to card number 3. This is my fancy fold card. I'm going to clean up my mess. I wanted to go long ways, and Cindy said, oh no, you do such a good job horizontal. Problem is, horizontal, you see behind me when I'm flipped up and my mess, and I've got mess. I didn't even fix my shelves today, so I hope they looked nice before I flip down. This card is 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and I'm pretty sure it is scored at, I've got a ruler here, I'm pretty sure it's scored at 2 inches and 7 1/2 inches. So let me put my glasses on, double check. I am at 2 inches and 7 1/2 inches. There you go. So 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, scored at 2 inches and 7 1/2 inches. Now, next, I'm using some fancy designer paper. If you don't recognize it, it's not one that's in the mini catalog, especially that you can see, but it is the fabulous, the best, the ultimate package of celebration designer paper. This is available with a $150 order. So of course you will get the card kit from me, plus the gifts, etc. With a $150 order. Plus you can get all that you want, plus host benefits. This is only available as a hostess benefit. So just to let you know, I believe it has 48 12 by 12 sheets. So many different holidays. It's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. I found something for just about every holiday. I love the Christmas. I love the birthday. I love the Halloween. So we've got our stars here with crushed curry. I decided that I wanted to use the In Color glitter paper here. So that's green, and I actually saw a card very similar to this online, but I did change it up a bit. So this card, remember I said it's scored at 2 inches and 7 1/2 inches, which means my edge here, it's 4 1/4 inches tall or wide, and this would be 3 1/2 inches for this big block here, which means my designer paper has to be 3 1/4 inches by 4 inches. 4 1/4 inches by 3 1/2. I'm cutting off, it's a 1/4 inch smaller. So 3 1/4 inches by 4 inches. Doesn't matter on the direction of that. Isn't that nice? Now for the bottom, remember I said this was 2 inches. So this is 1 3/4 inches, this designer paper with the jack-o'-lanterns. Aren't they so fun? They're friendly jack-o'-lanterns. I get a little spooked by jack-o'-lanterns, but these are good, nice jack-o'-lanterns. So 4 inches by 1 3/4 inches. You can use any designer paper. There's a crushed curry stripe. You could do a solid cardstock piece here and emboss it if you wanted to. If you didn't have this, if you were going to make multiples of this. So many ideas for all of this, for the background, for the designer paper. Could easily change it for Christmas. So you get the PDF and it'll tell you all the directions of how to score this so you can make multiples. Here on the bottom, I have a band. It's a 1/2 inch wide by 4 inches. It's a little shy, but don't look at that. See, there's a little edge showing. I didn't mean to do that. I punched out these yellow stars, these crushed curry stars, using the Bewitched hat punch. I'm sorry to say, I saw on the list, on the inventory list, that this is not only sold out, it's also done. So I'm sorry, they must have had issues with reordering or supplies. So not only is it sold out, but it's not available anymore. So, but I'll punch a bunch of stars for you if you order. So, okay, let's pull out our card kit here. I've got my card kit ready to go, already scored. This is how it comes to you. You've got all your die cuts. You've got your designer paper. You've got your inside, which I don't have in here, but you'll see. This is 4 by 5 1/4 inches, just like a standard card, this area here. Let's put this on the inside first. And I could stamp it with some bats or anything. What I was thinking would be really cool is the Scary and Cute stamp set, which is what I used these scary silhouette dies for this frame, this Through the Looking Glass card. It has trick-or-treaters that you could put just the silhouettes and you could stamp them on the bottom. And I didn't do that here, but I will suggest that for my people tonight. Okay, like I said, 1 3/4 inches because this is 2 inches tall by 4 1/4 inches wide here. So this is 4 inches. See, I could totally do this yellow designer paper too. Oh, you know what? I didn't even cut it right now that I'm looking at it. Let me grab my paper trimmer because I cut it at 2 inches. Hang on 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I feel like I should have a microphone so that when I travel, I can keep talking to you guys. Of course, I want this to be right side up. So what I'm going to do is attach this to the bottom. Like I said, I could do the gold. I probably should have done the stripes. And I did see this card online and I just kind of remade it my own. Like I said, this isn't directional. I could do it like that if I wanted to. Our 3 1/4 inches by 4 1/4 inches, 1/4 inch less, that's 4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. So let's make sure that I cut that right. Yeah, I do like the stars. So actually with that, yeah, that's a little busy. I am going to keep it with the stars. When I'm adding glue, I'm squeezing and moving it really fast so that only a little bit comes out at a time. You don't want a whole bunch. I remember I did brownies. I taught brownies in Girl Scouts years ago, and there was one girl that used glue, and I thought I was going to have a heart attack with the amount of glue she had. 2 hours later, I can't believe I did meetings that long, everything was still wet because it had so much glue. So don't do this. We're older now. We're more experienced. We can handle this. Okay, now what I'm going to do is attach, and I could use some adhesive sheets, but I did not. And this is fairly wide, so you can, you'll be able to do this. You'll be able to add your glue to this frame, just like this. Just like this. Okay, what I'm going to do, let me move this out of the way. And if you're worried about glue getting on here, of course, we have our silicone sheets. So I can attach it just like that. Now, let me move it over a little. That didn't do so well. I didn't center it very well. And didn't center it very well, and I like the darker at the top. So let's flip this again, try one more time. Okay, so there's our branches. Isn't that fun? So this is Through the Looking Glass again, card number 3. I have here my the haunted house, and I'm going to add this to my paper here, just like that. So right in the center, I'm going to add this, and then you're going to see what I'm going to do. I'm going to, I hope you guys are still with me, and I am not talking to myself. That would be really sad. Okay, just like that. Now I'm going to take my paper snips and I'm going to trim off the bottom of my circle. And I'm going to measure the circle for you so I can tell you how big the circle is. I believe it's 1 3/4 inches, but so you could, if it is, you could even, it's actually more like 1 7/8, I think. So a little bit larger than 1 3/4. What I'm going to do is put this here. I could pop this up. Maybe I'm going to pop this one up. Let's try doing that. I'm going to pop up. Let me get my large dimensionals right here. Am I just about done here with this one? Yeah, I'll save that. Okay. Let me get my large dimensionals here. And I'm going to pop up this whole silhouette, this moon, the scary moon. It's not a scary moon. This is a friendly card because I don't make scary. I don't do scary. I get freaked out, seriously, and you're going to laugh. But Sound of Music, I could never watch the ending until I was grown up because the war scene scared me so badly. So I'm a very trusting person. Everything is very real to me. And that was one of those movies. So what I'm going to do is put this here on the card. You don't want to put adhesive on the whole amount because you don't want to glue the card shut. So I'm going to make sure I just put it on like the top half, maybe even the top 2/3, just like that. Oh no, you know what? I am going to put it at the top, just like that, because I forgot we got to put our banner and our sign on, our label. Okay, so just like that, ready to go. Now, let me get the rest of my card. Where did the rest of the card go? So I've done that. Oh, here's the strip. Okay, here's my strip going to go on the bottom. And this one also is a little bit on the short side. I don't know about you. Somebody said to me once when we had some white cardstock and we all flipped it over to stamp on the other side. And we said, why do we do that if we know it's blank on the other side? But I guess it's to check. But it does feel, when I cut something, it does feel like there's a right and a wrong side. And I know that sounds really weird, but the edges of the paper, I can kind of feel where it kind of curls down if that's the top. Okay, we've got this great fun stamp. It's called, it says, Say Boo and Scary On. So isn't that cute? Remember all those carry-on things? I can't think of anything right now, but there was something, even Stampin' Up! Had a stamp. It was like Stamp and Carry On or something. Carry On and I don't remember. But anyway, Say Boo and Scary On. So instead of carrying on, we're going to scary on. Once again, I put my stamp on my block. I've got my Memento ink. I'm going to stand up so I'm over top of it. I can see it. And I'm going to stamp and hopefully do as well as that's a little. Yeah, that one is, my goodness. I know this is the back side, but boy, oh boy, did I do a bad job. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this up a little so I can see the outline. I did a really bad job of centering that. That was crooked. So with Memento, I tap. I might do a little twisting to make sure I've got enough ink on there. That's better. So it's the back, but nobody knows. Even this one, and this one I die cut even after I stamped, and it's not quite straight. But that's okay. Let's put that in there. Put our ink on our Memento. So Memento was the common theme, of course, except for the inks that you need to brush on your background. So what I'm going to do is get some... This is the back. This is the one that's crooked. I'm going to put on some dimensionals. Again, pop that up over the bottom, over my strip, just like that. And then we're going to just, you know what? I didn't bring any scrap paper, so we're going to use our label that is not quite straight. And we're going to punch out a couple of stars. There are 3 different size stars. We're going to use the largest star. on our, whew. Okay. I think that's this, large. Okay, we're going to use the largest star. We're just going to glue that, just a little dot, or you could use glue dots if you feel like you can't control the glue, but just a little dot to put the stars on, just like that, and voila, we have our third card. Isn't that so cute? So like I said, and I have the stamps here? You know what? I think I do have the stamps here. Hang on one second. I've got to see if I have a block, though. Oh, I'm going to use my block from Judy. So Scary Cute is the name of the stamp set. I should have done this before I glued it inside, because if I don't ink it up just right, I'm going to be bad. It's going to be bad. But let's see. Say Boo and Scary On. Trick or Treat, You're So Sweet. To From, Love at First Bite. Halloween Happiness. Maybe I'll do Halloween Happiness. Okay, I've got my block. This came from Judy. It was in a great little bag of treats from Backstage that she gave to our group of stampers that we all hang out and support each other. It's got my name, Backstage New Orleans. What a fun time, even though I did come back sick with COVID. Still one of the best times I've ever had, especially because of all these girls. I have such a great group of friends. That's all I can say. Okay, so she got this engraved, and I love it. We're going to put on a couple of our trick-or-treaters. Right there, our little guy, our little Frankenstein. And I'm going to stamp them in Memento because, of course, they're going to be background as well. Cute. So cute. Okay. Grab my Memento. And hopefully I lined these up okay. So this is my first time using them. So when it's my first time, oh my, this is a great, boy, is this a great ink pad. I think I tried to use one on the other side of the room and it wasn't very well inked. This is a nice wet ink pad. Okay, so we're going to stamp this right at the bottom. And if you're worried about it, don't glue it down and make sure that you maybe even use a Stamparatus so you can re-ink, but not bad. I think because it was my first time using these stamps, it does look a little blotchy. I can use my black marker though, or my black blends and color that in. But isn't that so cute? Oh, so cute, but my stars are falling off. My stars. Okay, so here's card number 3. Ta-da! So I could put anything inside. I'd probably put Halloween Happiness or something inside, but boy, I got to clean up my mess. Anyway, so these are the 3 cards that you get in your card kit from me with a $35 order using this host code RXQJTFRR. No numbers in this one. Isn't that crazy? Okay, so we've got Grassy Grove. We've got our Scary Cute looking glass. And then we've got our Aspen Trees looking glass. And don't forget, if you do a $50 order, you get everything to make this Snowman Magic card. The only problem is I can't stamp for you, so I could die cut, but you almost need the stamp set to do it, which I would highly recommend, by the way. So there's your cards. I'm going to flip up. Hope you guys are still with me. Oh, you are. There we are. Okay, let's do this. So I'm going to look at the right side. I'm so glad you joined me today. Thank you so much. This was so much fun. And like I said, I don't know why I get so stressed out because I love stamping with you all. Have a wonderful night, a wonderful week. Make sure you ask to join my BOGO group so that you can take advantage of my deals. I have stamps coming out of my ears and I'd love to give them a new home. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.